Hello, welcome. It's Susan Taylor Shire, Soul Mastery and Treasure Chest Tuesday, the weekly time of pulsation of spirit to support you, bring you love, wisdom, clarity, direction, all that you could possibly want. That is abundance. So let's talk about the abundance of what it is to be free, to be you. Even if the outer world feels very limiting, even if during this time of what I'm calling sacred pause, many are calling quarantine, self-isolation, lockdown, that's my favorite word, lockdown. So many things being described as it relates to this time of staying at home in relationship to what's going on in our whole world. So, how do we be free to be ourselves in the midst of all of this? Aha! I thought you'd never ask. That's why I'm here. So, what I love to consider is the fact that so many of us are a bit on overwhelm still. Still. And that's what we're coming out of, is this whole matter of overwhelm. I have to do this, I'm stressed, I've got this to do and that to do and this to take in, and I'm saturated, but there's more, and I have to go to work and take care of this. And it was just on, and all of a sudden it was like, cut, stop the craziness. And then our little human habit goes into, oh, but I have to listen to this podcast, I have to read this article, I have to find out what's going on with the COVID, I need to be informed, I want to find out what the latest spiritual take on it is, and I want to make sure that I feel that I'm part of something and I belong, and that I feel seen and understood for my beliefs. So I'm going to find the people that are on the same page with me, and I'm just going to be exhausted. And oh my gosh, and then there's the whole parody about how many Zoom classes you have and how many Zumba classes, Zoom calls, FaceTimes, you name it, people you have to talk to who want to talk to you. It's endless, and it's like, whoa. Now, yes, it's slow the train down, I want to get off, absolutely that's in there. But another piece that's really in there is this feeling that we aren't free to be ourselves. With this lockdown, one of the things I'm hearing is, yes, anger, sadness, and fear, but this sense of lockdown. Now, lockdown is an inner condition that we have created as humans for a very, very long time. I've been working with it in myself to unfreeze that lockdown parts of myself, to do the thaw, so to speak. Isn't that a fun word? Thaw. So I can be free to be myself, even though I am so-called confined, right? All of us are confined, but how do we get to that place of free to be me? Well, let's go back to the freeze state, because we have to acknowledge that. How often do we feel not seen, not understood? I don't belong here. This is not my world. There's no love here. I give and give and give, and nothing comes back. My heart is in lockdown. My body is in lockdown. And the feminine side of us feels in lockdown because it doesn't feel safe in the world, because there's this feeling that there's something, and that's true for men and women, there's something out there that could absolutely stop me in my tracks. So I have to be on hypervigilance. That's a lockdown. Fight or flight, freeze. All are lockdown mechanisms. Now, they started out to protect the gold of who we are. I have this treasure chest of me that I want to bring forward into this world. Oh, that's the original blueprint. That's right. The blueprint for life, to consciously create an expanded sense of spirit through the physical reality. That's the blueprint. Loving to be in life, loving to being in love with life itself. How many times have I said that? Being in love with life itself, right? So if that's the case, and there are parts of us that are in freeze and in lockdown, because we think we have to belong, and society says you have to push and produce and make this money and do it this way and that way. Whoa, we've been in lockdown in societal ways of looking at things. And also on the other side of the coin is the lockdown we feel inside. It's not safe to come forward. So I have to confine myself to being the best human I can. Stop the train, we want to get off. So we're doing a sacred pause. And it's really important to be able to go inside, into our hearts especially, into our bodies, and feel where we feel triggered, that we are in lockdown. We are not free. Somebody's telling us that it can't be a certain way, and we can't do this. I've had my triggers, and we can't do that, and it's got to be this way, and God only knows how long it's going to be, and right? We have all of those things going on in us, and it's okay. It's understandable. But the way we come into freedom, the freedom to bring the light that we are, is by recognizing these patterns where we feel locked down by something outside of us. And then we can get free in ourselves to go, that's not my reality. I'm a sovereign being here, and I get to be free to be me. Okay, another aspect of this is perspective and intuition. So, right now we're in a period of time where things are not the way we want them to be at the smaller level of things. And I could go into a litany of how that's been described to me. You all know what it's like, okay? I can't do this, that, and the other, okay? But at a larger soul level, at a larger energetic level, at a larger universal level, this is what we've created together to be able to come out of the lockdown that this world has been in, where we are not creating life anymore. We're creating the lack of life. The great surge of this lack of connection, the separation has gotten so big that it's dragging us down and we don't feel alive anymore. So we are changing all of that. We're changing it from the inside out. We may not be able to always control the outer situation. Weather, it rains sometimes. We can't always control that. Although my weather witch believes I can sometimes, and it does. But my inner weather witch and my guidance. But we can't control everything in the outer. But we are in command on the inner, in how we feel, how we react, how we respond, but most importantly, how we listen and how we are guided by our intuitive sense of what is true and real for me right now. That is the ultimate freedom. Let me give you an example. So a few years ago, I sprained my ankle, and I needed to be off that ankle for a while, as much as possible. I'm a mover and shaker. It was a little difficult. And I also needed to wear one of those boots, they call it. Well, that didn't feel good at all. I didn't like that, or parts of me didn't like that at all. But the larger perspective was, this is what I need to do to get the ultimate results that I want, correct? So I was willing to create that limitation and be okay with that, so that in the larger experience, I would be free to have that ankle, leg, hip, all of that back again, to be able to move forward in whole new ways. That's what we're doing now. We are constricting, so to speak, limiting our outer capacity for expression theoretically, to be able to go inside more and get a greater feeling for what it is to be free to be you, no matter what. And again, that takes listening to your guidance. Your guidance with you co-creates what is freedom now. And we need to find whole new ways to do that in confinement. I can wear whatever's in my closet. I can wear sweatpants. I can wear a fancy party dress. Who's going to keep me from doing that, even though I'm just in my house, right? That's just a silly example. But think about what it is that makes you feel alive and free. Take a moment to really think what that is. Music, dance, writing, creative arts are so good for you to feel like you're free. I love, as many of you know, aerial dance. And that's being on a fabric, a hammock, and flipping in the air and doing those kinds of things. I can't do that right now, okay? That studio is not open for me right now. Oh, but I can get that sensation. And I sat in the sun yesterday, or the day before, and I imagined, in my creative imagination, that I was on the beach in Costa Rica. And you could say, well, you don't have a memory of being on a beach in Costa Rica. You have a memory of being free. You have a memory. And if you have no memories of being free, go Google Costa Rica beach and see yourself there. Feel it. Take it in. Feel that freedom. You know, we do all this craziness of feeling constrained before we go on a vacation. And we're like, oh my God, I have to do this and this and this and this. But we know it's for the greater sense of being able to have that freedom. I want you to feel that during this time, you are cultivating an inner sense of freedom, no matter what, that is going to just make you feel like everything is just fine. Just fine. I am free to be my sovereign self. And I'm going to listen inside to my guidance as to what will guide me to that greatest sense of freedom. This month I'm doing a special great discount on sessions and some trainings, and 2 of them relate to intuition, because it is a time right now, as we all know, where there's way more of our guidance, way more of universal pulsation of spirit, way more energy raining upon us for us to create with. I want you to be able to connect with that more, to be free to create with those larger expanded senses of yourself, your spirit, and the wealth of spirit and divinity that is yours. So you can be free to be the largest, most abundant you that is possible. So there are many ways to do it. Make yourself a list. And when you get caught in that cycle of fear or feeling a lockdown or a feeling of I can't dare say what I feel and I have to listen to somebody else and listen to another podcast and get a feeling for what's going on in the world because I feel lost here and I feel afraid, go inside. I am free to be me. What does my heart and soul have to say to me as I tune into that expanded nature for a moment that says, I am free. And when you do that, you will start to cultivate, which is part of what we're doing right now, cultivating that deeper sense of who you are when you are free to be me. So I bless you in your freedom from the inside out. You will always have that. And Spirit will always encourage you to live from that place, freely and fully. And if you don't know what I'm talking about these special discounts that I'm doing for the next month, cutting prices in half, as they'd say on a TV ad, for you, because I know some of the limitation we're all working with is financial constraints. Those are real, absolutely. But I want to help you be able to be free from the inside out, release all those patterns of freeze and fight or flight, or anger, the angry heart, whatever it is, the sadness, whatever it is, free you from having that be dominant so you can start to be free to be your largest, incredible soul self. So if you haven't seen any of that, it's on my website, soulmastery.net. You can find it right away and dig right in to the freedom to be alive completely and bring the treasure chest of you in every moment. Blessings to you and your journey of freedom.